The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Earnestly Speaking podcast coming to you on December 27th. 2020, with this days away from the end of this disaster, also known as, I should have said, 2020. How you guys doing? Ernest Christian here. So this should be a kind of a quick one here. I don't want to go too long on this one. Got a lot of things that I do tonight. But Christmas is now officially on the back burner. Christmas 2020 officially over, although some folks might still want to celebrate even past that. Still got New Year's. Not big on New Year's guy, honestly. I'm actually working New Year's Day, which is fine. I'm off New Year's Eve, which is fine too. I don't have any plans. I got invited to a couple parties, but I'm probably not going to make those because I don't know. I'm that guy now that really prefers to stay in. That's the one holiday where I don't want to be out exposed to potential drunk drivers and idiots and all the fucking madness outside. Especially in 2020 with shit going on. People are on edge now because of the virus and the pandemic. I want to be risking that shit. I'd rather be home with my wife and my kids, celebrate. We'll drink some wine or whatever. We'll make cookies or whatever the hell we do every year. And just hang out. I'm a homebody anyway, man. So that's all good. And this year was kind of the same thing really with Christmas. Just like Thanksgiving. I mean, I did to see my mom, but Christmas was really pretty low key. I mean, Christmas Eve, I went to my sister's who was in town for the next week or so. She's been here over a week. Visited them obviously Christmas Eve. Visited my nephew, his birthday. He just turned 15. Had birthday cake, and of course my brother Eric just turned 34. Can't believe that guy's 34 years old. It's crazy. The older he gets, the older I'm like, oh, dude, I'm closer to like death. It's fucking crazy, man. But hey, time moves on. You do what you gotta do, accomplish things you want to accomplish, and go from there. But happy birthday to my brother and my nephew. We had a good day. Went to the pool. It was a little overcast, but we were able to. Well, I didn't go to the pool. My kids went to the pool. They were having a good time. You know what I mean? But it was good though. It was actually a good Christmas Eve. Got back home. Wrapped gifts with the wife, and then Christmas Day came around, and it was cool. The kid, again, I love Christmas as a kid. As a kid, I obviously, you look forward to getting gifts and enjoying and the innocence of it all. Nothing more about the world other than the things that your parents put in front of you, school and everything else. You don't know about paying bills and all that because that's not a priority as a kid. You're not thinking about that kind of stuff. And then for me, as I get older, you understand that Christmas is what it is. You become an adult. You don't really, like for me anyway, while I like Christmas still, I became more, I'm more of a Thanksgiving guy. I prefer Thanksgiving. The food and football and all that. And for me, Christmas was all about basketball and this family. And it wasn't until I became a father in 2013 that I realized that I kind of rediscovered that love of Christmas. And especially this year with the pandemic, we want to lean on the positive as much as possible because there's enough negative shit out there, man. It's enough negative stuff out there to indulge yourself into, whether it's political shit, the pandemic, of course, whatever family drama you got going on. I mean, there's so much negative crap out there that it's easy to forget that you still have things you could be grateful for and have the right perspective. You know what I'm saying? So this year, like I said on this podcast a couple episodes before, I was, normally I don't care to listen to Christmas music, before Thanksgiving. Well, I don't give a shit. My wife was playing that stuff after Halloween. And I didn't complain. I was like, you know what, honey, go right ahead. Do what you gotta do. If baby makes you happy, go right ahead. I'm okay with it. I'll check mark it. I'll sign it. I'm good with that. As long as you're happy, as long as they put you in a good mood, so be it. I'm cool with that. And honestly, it didn't bother me. It really didn't bother me at all the way through. I ended up really embracing what it means. And this year especially was even more boldened for me. You know, watching my kids and the joy that my sons getting their gifts. Because they don't know. I mean, they know what's going on, but they don't. I mean, they're kids, you know, and we, you know, my goal is to provide them this bubble of joy, especially now that we have to be, you know, quarantined to some degree. You know, we give them the bubble of joy. You know, so watching my son Eli, especially, and maybe you know, hopefully the next episode before the year's out, we'll get him on here to do his annual discussion on that. I'm gonna try to get him on tonight, but he's ready to sleep. But you know, one of the things I was, you know, watching him get his gifts. You know, and by the way, he was kind of moody all week. Talking about, I don't know if we can get me right gifts and this and that. You know, and then he apologized on Friday because the things he wanted, he got. He really wanted a lot of WWE related stuff. Like he wanted the WWE belts, he wanted the ring, he wanted some action figures and a couple of things of that nature. And he got that, and he loves it. He loves it. Again, this is about them. This is about giving them joy, you know, and seeing their faces, seeing his face, seeing my youngest son Logan open gifts and be happy and really enjoying the gifts and still enjoying it days later. You know, it's really put a lot of perspective, and it satisfies me and my wife especially, you know, because you remember when Eli came on the podcast last year when I asked him, you know, on the show how he liked his gifts, he kept saying, well, it was okay, but I wanted this one. Well, the reason why he didn't get what he wanted last year was because last year was a little more difficult year. At the time, especially, he was struggling with school, which he has since turned around. But, you know, this year he's been pretty good. And it's been a tough year, too, because of the pandemic. So, you know, we wanted to reward him, you know, and the things he wanted, he got. You know, I think the one thing he still wanted to get, which we're going to wait probably till his birthday, assuming he's still great, is he wanted a Nintendo Switch, and we'll get that for him. As obviously, it's a little price tag right now because, you know, you have to get gifts for main people, not just the kids. So that would have put a big stranglehold on our budget. So I told him, listen, hang around, behave yourself. Maybe by the time we get the birthday, which is in April, we'll see a Switch in your under for a gift or whatever maybe. But other than that, it was good. The only negative for me, really, honestly, with in terms of the Christmas for me personally, was I had another allergy attack, and that allergy attack really took all my energy. I was pretty much groggy the entire day, to the point where, you know, I had plans to go to see my father and, you know, and my dad down in Miami. And I told him, nah, I ain't gonna make it. I'm too groggy right now. I just want to stay here close to home and just relax. It took all the energy out of me, honestly. I have to get that checked out, really, honestly. I've had allergy problems for a while now, but those have been minor. This year, for some reason, it's been really bad. You know, my eyes were all, you know, glazed and all that. You know, my wife was telling me I look kind of high. I don't even smoke weed, so what the hell? But yeah, I'm still going through it now. Actually, you hear me sniffing. You hear me sniffing right now. Sorry, sorry to hear that. Oh well. But you know, we stayed in for a little bit. And then my mom called. She said she wanted to see us, so we went over there a little bit later in the night, late evening. So for a little bit, didn't want to go only because I was feeling like shit. But they're only 5 minutes away. My dad's an hour away, so that's a little more trek. You know, my mom is 5 minutes away, so okay, we go in, say hi, blah, 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 you know, do family thing, and then leave. But an hour later, I'm staying a couple hours, but I was out of it, dude. I was on the couch, just sitting there, and honestly, just just sitting there watching my kids dance, and my mom had a good time, and some of my siblings were there, obviously, and then I just sat there with my eyes glazed and stuff. My mom was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. This allergy's just kicking my ass. Just want to lay low." So we got home about 10:30, 11 o'clock, And then I told wife, I'm going to bed. I'm putting the kids to bed, and I'm going to bed. See you in the morning. I don't know what you want to do after that, but I am going to sleep. And I did that, and I fell asleep. And I felt a little better the next morning. Before I went to work. Then I had to work Saturday and pull my back while I work a little bit, but I'm okay now. So it's been a good Christmas. Like I said, low key. Got someone from the news from a family member. I won't really go into detail about that, but God bless. Obviously, I'm very happy. But other than that, it was a pretty nice, I don't say quiet, but comparison to every other year, the holiday was a relatively tame Christmas, and I like those. As I said on the Thanksgiving episode a month ago, I'm really starting to really embrace these smaller, quiet holidays, So it was good. There was some sad news over the weekend, though, yesterday. And this is for the world of wrestling, of course. Jon Huber, affectionately known as Brodie Lee in AEW, who was known as Luke Harper in the WWE. He passed away at the age of 41 on Saturday night. Very stunning news. Then again, if you watch AEW every week, which I'm kind of a couple weeks behind, what I do kind of plan on watching, next couple weeks to catch up. I don't know. Anyway, but he's been off TV for a while. So I was already concerned. And at the time they were saying it was an injury and all that, but he had a lung issue, apparently. They were saying it's non-COVID related, according to his wife. It was very stunning. He's only 41 years old. But to hear the outpouring of love from the wrestling community, from both the WWE side, the AEW side, people who were close, who knew Jon Huber, Mr. Brodie Lee. I love this character, especially in AEW. He really saved the Dark Order gimmick that I really couldn't stand, and he brought more, should I say, organization or meaning to the Dark Order faction, honestly. And to me, where does it go? Honestly, where does it go? He had 2 kids, wife, very sad story. I'm actually going to be recording later on after this with my guys on Take 3 Wrestling, Mike and Joe, and they were shaken up. Mike especially was shaken up because these guys have been following him since the late 2000s when he was in the independent circuit and all that. But to hear their people, to hear the feedback and the condolences from the wrestling community, it's such a, whether or not you like pro wrestling, the community is such a strong network. And me coming back to wrestling last year, especially, and really diving back into professional wrestling, commentary and podcasting and in some degree writing at times, it's a very strong community. A lot of opinions. A lot of people have strong opinions. Some good, some fucking terrible. But still, when there is someone you lose that you admire, even Brodie Lee, and Brodie Lee was never even a tip top guy. He was a mid carder, really. Although he did win a TNT championship recently on AEW over the summer before losing to Cody like 2 months later. But still, the fact that a guy like that can touch so many people, so many fans. To see the outpouring of love. And you saw it with Pat Patterson a couple weeks ago when he passed away. He was a legend in the business. The guy that actually created the Royal Rumble, the first Intercontinental Champion, first gay wrestler, openly gay wrestler in the business. You see this with Jon Huber, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, whatever you remember him as, and the outpouring of love out there. Read Bray Wyatt's condolences on his Instagram. Heartbreaking. Chris Jericho's was really good. I read the one from Big E. There's a couple more I read. It was really touching. Charlotte Flair's was actually really good too. Actually, her condolences to Brodie Lee. It's a sad situation and a lot of question marks. And I don't really want to sit here and speculate because it doesn't matter at this point because he's not here with us. But it was just nice to see an outpouring of love from both AEW and especially WWE. He just left the company late last year. Maybe he was cut. late last year. So to see the company, acknowledge him and even do a section on the network today, that had like a Luke Harper section on the main page. It's pretty touching, and it's good to see that despite whatever business wasn't attended to, that you can look past that and acknowledge the good he did for your company. So kudos to WWE for that, and especially kudos to AEW for really being there and for the family. I mean, from what his wife Amanda is saying, the AEW was more than over the top with support and love. So, rest in peace, Jon Huber. Obviously, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, fantastic gimmick, man. I really enjoyed it. I mean, this is going to hurt the company too, because he was. I mean, look, the Dark Order, for example, if you watch AEW Weekly in their programming, they were a mess until he got there. And when he got there, that faction gained purpose. It had a purpose, and it really got organized. And it got guys over, too, like John Silva and a couple other guys in there. So this is a big loss. This is a really big loss for the company and, for the wrestling community especially. So, once again, rest in peace to Jon Huber. We are now closing in on the first week, the completion of the first week of the NBA season, and a lot of things you can look at right now. A lot of things you can, I guess, rant on, and what's your takeaways. I just watched basketball tonight, and right now, I mean, again, this is why I have a hard time with people having, overreactions. So the Brooklyn Nets come out the gate, blow out the Golden State Warriors, blow out the Celtics on Christmas Day, and then they just lose to the Charlotte Hornets an hour ago. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine. Actually, to be honest with you, I think it'd be more than fine. I mean, as long as they're healthy. It was a given that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant were gonna be great, all things equal, if they're healthy. Be fine. Obviously, I have concerns about Kyrie off the court, and not so much that he's a bad guy. He's a weird guy. He says things, and sometimes it impacts locker rooms. But the Nets bench is really good, like really good, to the point where this is why you do not trade for James Harden. Because James Harden would be a detriment to the bench. Not because he's a bad guy, but because he needs the basketball so the guys on the bench won't flourish. I think the idea of having 3 stars, not necessarily anymore. The Lakers won last year with 2 stars, AD and LeBron. If you got 2 top-tier stars and a solid, bench and supporting cast around that, you'll be fine. Be fine. And the Nets have that. Assuming Kyrie and Durant continue to make it work, and, Kyrie stays, relatively normal, which is, I guess, hard to do for him, but, it is what it is. Takeaways, I mean, like I said, it's not much to take away from it right now for this week. The Cavs are 2-0. Is that going to hold up? No, come on. Like I said, the Knicks one tonight against the Sixers, is that going to change things going bigger picture? Of course not. Like I said, one weekend, let it settle in, let it simmer. I always say, give each team at least 10 to, I always say 20 games. But since it's a shortened season, give it 15 games before we get a feeling of these franchises. Like the Warriors started out 0-2. I don't know if they won tonight. They were down by a few points to, let me check real quick here. They were down by a few points to, let me see. Chicago, and did they win their first game of the year? Chicago, that's last night's game. Hold on, let's check it real quick. Golden State did win tonight by a point. So again, let's not overreact, okay? That's it. But here's something I won't overreact to, because the NFL playoffs starting about a week from now, and about 2 weeks from now rather. And by the way, let me do this real quick before I get out of here. The Bucs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've had a couple of challenges here and there throughout the season, but now they're 10-5. Watched the game against Detroit yesterday on Saturday, rather, when you hear this podcast. They're going to be the most dangerous team in the NFC. because they're playing right at the right time. Tom Brady is still the guy. Tom Brady is still the boss. My concern with Tampa right now is their defense. They're inconsistent here and there, but if they can play good and play well and hold the fort, the Bucs, they're sealing the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know if they'll beat Kansas City, but I do know that they are talented enough to get to the Super Bowl. Because the NFC's wide open. Like, Green Bay is really good, but they're not infallible. Seattle's definitely not infallible. New Orleans, we know they've been pretty much they've owned Tampa, but I think beating a team 3 times in a year is hard to do. The rest of the NFC, like, come on, like, seriously, Arizona, the Rams, come on now, that's a joke. The Cardinals might still get in, maybe not, I don't know, but come on, they can beat them. If the Bears get in, come on, Trubisky gonna scare you? No. Tampa Bay is the most dangerous team in that conference because they're playing well at the right time. It's the same thing with Baltimore in the AFC too. If the Ravens get in, look out, because Lamar Jackson's playing his best football at the right time of year. Okay, and by the way, Baltimore being under the radar too, especially now. You know, last year they had the bullets and they had the targets because they were 14-2 last year. This year, they might sneak in 11-5 most likely. Get one of the wild card spots, and then maybe look. Kansas City is still dominant, but they're not infallible. Kansas City almost lost to Atlanta today, and they have a hard time closing out games the last couple weeks too. To be honest with you, so I mean, Kansas City is really great, and they're probably going to repeat. We'll see, but there's some signs there. But Kansas City, that if you get them on the right day, you can catch them sleeping. You know, the rest of the AFC, the Colts. I don't believe in the Colts. The Colts are the blue lead to Pittsburgh this week. Pittsburgh has been slipping the last couple weeks. I mean, Dolphins are good, but they're still learning by themselves. The Browns lost to the Jets today. Now, granted, I had no receivers out, so I get that. You know, like I said, it feels more wide open than it should be. Like, yes, Chiefs in the AFC, but you see signs. But the Buccaneers in the NFC, though, that's a team to look out for because they're playing good football at the right time. And that's all that matters, is playing at the right time. Look at Pittsburgh. They'll never know. Now they're slipping. Buccaneers, just laying the weeds, getting guys healthy. Antonio Brown starting to get, acclimate himself in the system. So the Buccaneers going to be a problem. Keep an eye on that. Last thing before I go, kind of go recording the wrestling podcast with my boys. 2 weeks ago, I want to talk about this 2 weeks ago, but I didn't have a chance to. But there was a quote about Randy Moss saying that he's the greatest receiver of all time. Randy Moss is probably the most talented receiver of all time. I'll give you that. He's probably the biggest freak of all time. I'll give you that. I'm not going to argue that point at all. Greatest of all time, though? Really? Yeah, a guy who didn't show up at every play? Really? Come on now. Jerry Rice? You ever heard of that guy? Jerry Rice is the greatest of all time. And yeah, Montana and Young. He did. But Jerry Rice was very clutch. Jerry Rice showed up. And for the record, Jerry Rice wasn't as talented as Randy Moss, and yet he did more with less talent. Randy Moss should be the greatest receiver of all time. Randy Moss is top 5, probably even top 3 all time. But I'm the guy who also thinks that Terrell Owens is better than Randy Moss. That's just me. Not a popular opinion for a lot of people. Okay, because Randy Moss was mostly sizzle. He was a fly route receiver, whatever, make a big play. But for 3rd and 3, get you a first down up the middle? Nah, he ain't that guy. He wasn't that guy. T.O. was that guy. Do you know who else is that guy too? Jerry Rice. And that's why I take Jerry Rice over Randy Moss. Period. Discussion. Anyway, gotta go. On Twitter, EJChristmas7, Let's Make a Podcast. We'll do this again in a couple days, hopefully. Till then, we'll talk soon. Later. Thank you.